Just last week, August 31st to be exact, many of us wore purple and gathered to hear exhortations. We took note of International Overdose Awareness Day, an effort to end overdose by ending stigma regarding addiction and to highlight the resources available and to note the beauty of sobriety and recovery. September is also highlighted as National Recovery Month, so we have not put away our purple just yet. I had shared this short spoken word at the Blue Point Bible Church the Sunday before International Overdose Awareness Day. I've watched family and friends struggle with addiction. I've lost friends that were as close as family die from overdose. I've heard stories from, mourned with, and seen the perseverance of families and friends who have lost loved ones to overdose. I've become frustrated with much talk about what could, would, and should be done with little to no action as we see addiction and overdose claim life after life. I know I am not alone. I pray for those who suffer and battle addiction. I pray for families affected by addiction and overdose. I pray for friends to be better friends and to lead their friends away from addiction and save their lives from overdose. I pray for more words of care because words bring healing. But I, of course, pray for more action against addiction and overdose in our communities. Perhaps a life will be saved, maybe a family member or friend of mine, or maybe one of yours. I am putting together this video because our efforts regarding addiction and overdose, not only in the Bayport Blue Point area where I labor and reside, but throughout the entire town of Brookhaven, throughout Suffolk County, and across Long Island, must continue and advance. I myself have labored in the fight to end addiction and overdose and to restore and highlight the beauty of lives of sobriety and recovery. Even this past week, gathering in thought and prayer with my community and religious leaders. I'd like to share a clip from Mr. Ed Silsby, who serves as deacon at the Blue Point Bible Church, as well as president of the Blue Point Community Civic Association, wherein he took some time to share with us his thoughts regarding addiction and overdose in our community.
Facts do not cease to exist because they are ignored. This was Aldous Huxley in 1926. I know of two brothers. I'd like to know them more. I've learned much I did not seek to master. I've seen much I did not wish to notice. I've been places I wish did not exist. I have a story of two young men, two brothers you may have known. Two brothers, local boys. You may have seen them at play. They would later search in vain for just one bed. One bed was never found, but now is sleep on soft as satin. One brother, the younger of two, knew of the sting of addiction. His body fought it, and he thought, I won. But as of late, his mind found addiction's call was still very sweet. The other brother was the oldest. His battle with seductive addictions was further behind him. His confidence had grown. But he knew if he could, he must be running ever faster. For the younger brother, the call, the pull, that embrace was closing in. He'd laid his head in rehab before. He knew it could help. Place after place he went, telling his tale. Yes, I'm clean, but I know any day I'm going to lose this race. He pleaded, just find me a bed. Take me in. I know you can help. Well, the brothers conceived a plan, a cunning plan. Both agreed the plan will work. The brothers knew if the younger brother only tested dirty, a bed he will find. A small hit was secured. This will work. Just test dirty and you'll find a bed. All goes well till a younger brother's body finds his mind's old dose too strong. Dead he falls. Older brother does what he can. But the plan did not include new life. It only included finding a bed. Older brother now calls mom. If you know this part, my heart goes out to you. If you do not, then wish it not in any poor parent's heart. Older brother hears a call, but it was not mom's voice urging him to come home, even if just for one night. Off to work, his clean life beckons. Life in recovery has hazards of its own. Now, he faces the rest of his race, a race burdened by an obvious guilt. Older brother knows the detour younger brother found can be found once more. This time, no need to find a bed. One big hit and all is absolved. Morning's bright light. Mom tries the phone, the door, then no. The floor. She laid for a spell with him. He was so still. 911 is there, she is alone. I have been to one funeral home wherein two brothers lie. One was older, one was younger. Both died for want of one bed. Both now sleep. I do not want to go there anymore. Not long ago, I participated in an effort to learn about the routes to recovery and how we as a society, a community, even a family comes together to help those amongst us recover from addiction. Far more than I could have ever imagined. We just suck at helping. We often attack, blame the addict. Even worse, we attack those with a heart to help. To those politicians, and they're not alone, who comfort with kind words and offer prayers, I say thank you. But to those same politicians who do nothing more than bend laws they have sway over, placing a recovery house, a bed, in a location that may lose one person's vote, I ask you this, consider it well. If that one vote was your vote, was a vote to establish credible zoning, allowing qualified rehabilitation homes in your town, would you do it? Would you take a step that could save even one person, one mother's son, one father's daughter? If you do, many would consider it a high point in a successful career. I know those who no longer breathe. I've learned of sadness I never want to know.
I'd like to share some clips from a recent town hall meeting that demonstrate the importance of town and community working together regarding these things.
Designate August 31st, 2021 as International Overdose Prevention Day in the town of Brookhaven. So moved.
Second.
To that motion.
Can we co-sponsor? Can we all co-sponsor?
Yeah, we
Sure.
all are co-sponsors on
To
it.
that motion, Supervisor. May I speak, please?
Sure,
I
Thank you.
just need to take a second.
Second.
We got a second.
Thank you, sir.
Supervisor, in the audience today, and Andy, if you could do me a favor, come off me a second. Could you pan the audience, please? We have members of the Beating Hearts, which is a group, it's a parents group dedicated to those who have lost a loved one to the opioid epidemic. And if I could just say that, I see these situations firsthand, not only as a first responder who responds to these, but also as someone who has experienced this in my own family. And the goal here with this resolution is to bring, as we said before, drug awareness, more awareness to drug abuse. And even if we save one life, we're successful. And I want to do this by recognizing addiction and then addressing it, as you said, Supervisor, before it's too late. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here this evening. And we'll do it, as the supervisor said, and the rest of the board supports. We will do whatever we can to do what we can to try and save a life, if not two. Thank you.
Go ahead, Dr. You can. Good afternoon. Councilman Foley knows me well. Supervisor Ed Romaine knows me well. I lost my son to heroin 10 years ago. I live in Blue Point. The reason that I'm here is we need to do more for the town of Brookhaven. We have, there's Islip Goes Purple, which was started by a woman, Kathy Colixnoff, who lost her son, and Islip went purple. So I live in Blue Point, and we have signs from our coalition, which was the initiative that started the coalition. And then when they got the federally funded grant, which brings education into our schools, which I'm grateful for. I am still, well, you know, just a mother. I'm a mother who lost a child. We have signs that say, going down Blue Point Avenue, Islip Goes Purple in Blue Point. Bayport Blue Point is part of, Town of Islip and Town of Brookhaven. But Brookhaven is one of the largest, or is the largest county in New York State. We have lost so many children. It's getting worse. I'm sure you are all aware of what happened out in Mattituck. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. It's happening behind closed doors. I'm training parents, Narcan training, and I'm like, okay, where's your child? Oh, they're upstairs. Oh, why are you getting Narcan trained? On in rehab, getting help? No, because they're ashamed and they're afraid. We need to reach the youth, because parents sometimes they don't know how to talk about it. They're ashamed. You know, the term heroin, you know, used to be the dirt bag, sleaze bag, excuse my expression. It's not. It's not. It's a disease. It's a mental health disease. There's an issue. And I really feel that Brookhaven town needs to go big. And we wear purple, but you know what? Purple doesn't matter. You know, it matters the colors of our sons' graves, of our daughters' graves. That's what matters. The color of the stone they have to pick out, what you want written up. We don't want anymore. These children, I mean, it's getting younger and younger and younger. And I live in a beautiful community. And it's devastating. It's devastating. And I just really want the support from Supervisor Romaine. Neo always has my support. He's always there to do, you know, doing things to help me, to increase awareness in our community. And having a coalition is wonderful. They do things, but you know what? We really need to knock on doors, because they're behind the closed doors, and we need to talk about it.
Thank you, Dorothy. Thank you. Ira.
My name is Ira Costell from Port Jeff Station, and a lifelong resident of the town of Brookhaven. On February 12, 2007, my family, as my friend Linda Ventura puts it, joined a club that no one, including the moms here today, wanted to join. That is the day my nephew, David Aaron Costell, succumbed to the disease of addiction and died of an overdose at 22 years of age. As painful as that experience has been, our sadness has only been compounded by the fact that so many other families have shared that tragic fate in the intervening years from a totally preventable and treatable disease. As you may have heard tonight, or will hear from others, we've experienced over 93,000 overdose deaths in this country last year during the COVID pandemic. This is the equivalent of nearly 4 747 jumbo jet planes crashing in this country every single week. Every week. Can you imagine the effort and resources we would expend as a nation to figure out what the heck is going on and how to stop the horror of such loss? So while we are here today to witness the issuing of a proclamation by the town of Brookhaven recognizing Tuesday, August 31st as International Overdose Awareness Day, as Dorothy said, there's so much more that is needed to be done. I recall a ceremony marking this day just 2 or 3 years ago, standing on the steps to the entrance of this very building and listening to speeches, and many of you here expressed sadness and your sympathies over our plight. I remember Councilwoman Bonner even came out to the assembled group to hug and cry with us as we held a grieving mom in our arms who had lost their son only weeks before. According to the New York State Health Department annual opioid report, Suffolk County has more overdose deaths than any other county in the state of New York. I repeat, more overdose deaths than any other county in the entire state of New York. And Brookhaven Town has more deaths than any township in Suffolk. In essence, we sit at ground zero for this epidemic in our state. And while turning Town Hall purple and occasional drug take-back days and symbolic expressions of support like today, they're helpful and they may feel good, but we need to do more in this town than just proclamations, speeches, and shared tears. We need action, and we need it now. This town has a moral obligation and responsibility to do so much more for its residents. And the town clerk shouldn't issue another death certificate to another family losing a loved one to this epidemic without all of us committing every resource possible at our disposal. This should be public health crisis number 1 or 1A after COVID, and there are many affordable or cost-neutral actions this town board could take today to improve the lives of Brookhaven residents. I will be sharing a number of these ideas in the days to come. According to my religion, whoever saves a single life is considered by Scripture to have saved the whole world. Families who live in this great town deserve no less than our best efforts to live up to that precept every day.
The most important thing that they need is treatment beds. They need a place to go when they ask for help.
As Ira mentioned in the video, the town had opportunity and didn't seize it. And surely you remember the 2 young brothers that were mentioned by Deacon Edward Silsby. Was a strong sentiment and call to action this past International Overdose Awareness Day at the Thrive Community Center. A call for action press release was made regarding the 90,000 plus lives lost to overdose in the United States in 2020, and the 300 plus lives being Long Islanders. A variety of speakers mentioned the need for action, the need to develop inpatient resources that unfortunately continue to be limited. Remember the need for a bed that Deacon Ed Silsby shared about. One speaker specifically said, access to treatment must be a reality. It was mentioned that a home run is achieved in our efforts to end overdose through availability of medicated, assisted inpatient recovery and peer support, namely programs, and end to the stigma. It was all of that which had me, Michael Miano, a pastor at a local church, all fired up when I shared some words at the recent Bayport Blue Point Chamber of Commerce's lighting of the chamber tree, purple, of course. I simply hope that my passion and knowledge helps encourage action to take place and for the action to actually do something. In other words, produce the necessary results to destroy the strongholds of addiction and overdose in our communities. I will continue to have awareness bags that highlight information about the congregation I have the privilege to serve in and with, as well as a variety of information regarding efforts to end addiction and overdose, including what I believe to be a great outline of the problem we are facing across Long Island regarding the zoning necessary for rehabilitation centers. You can contact me through the following information there on the screen. Pastor Mike Miano at the Blue Point Bible Church, phone number 631-363-6111, email pastormikemiano@yahoo.com, and of course, visiting the Blue Point Bible Church's website, bluepointbiblechurch.org. You can also consider attending a Blue Point Community Civic Association community meeting. These meetings are held the first Tuesday of every month. You can, of course, find the Blue Point Community Civic Association on Facebook to learn more and, of course, the location to the meetings. Thank you for taking some time out of your day to watch this video, and prayerfully, you will join our efforts to see an end to overdose and addiction in our communities.